For audio purposes, 3, 2, 1.
So I'm currently working on a slew of projects. I'm definitely working on multiple at once. There are a lot of bronze sculpture commission work that I'm working on, and I'm also doing some commission dagger work as well. So some iron cast daggers and 2 kind of larger scale, long-term bronze sculpture. So I'm familiar with 2 forms of metal casting work, and that is in sand resin block molds as well as ceramic shell molds. I will do both, a few for iron and then a few for bronze. But the way that you make sand molds is you start with your sand, you mix a catalyst in it, you mix it all up, and then you end up adding some resin into it to harden and solidify your sand, which is refractory. So when you pour molten metal in it, it resists burning to an incinerated mess. And essentially both forms create an empty cavity of whatever you're trying to cast, and you're pouring into that empty cavity. And once you're done, you break the mold, you just strip them away. They're all one-time shot molds, so you can't reuse these molds, and then you are left with a metal piece. So I am mixing all that sand, and then I will be working in, if you guys ever watched the lotus flower, that was done with the slurry ceramic slip stuff. So I was inspired to do the dagger, I think mainly from like my upbringing. I really always liked fantastical work and just crazy like fights and crazy like mythical weapons. So I mean, as a child, I was doing, I was taking sticks and I was turning them into these very elaborate swords, which meant I carved stuff into it and then slapped some leather on the hilts. But I was always obsessed with weapons. It was like a child's dream. I just always wanted to make my own metal weapon since I had been making all these wooden weapons. And I was inspired to do metal for the first time by my university professor, Teresa Lind. But I always loved metal from a very young age because my father is actually a hobby silversmith, and he started me with like lost wax production stuff when I was like 5. I get the materials that I work with from all over. Some of them I buy myself from the Potter Shop in Waukesha. Otherwise, I know there are certain vendors that the university gets stuff from, and I'll actually just buy it directly from the sculpture area department. Because easy way to get some material as an alumni from the program, and they get bulk discounts, so nice. So I graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater with a Bachelor of Fine Arts with 2 emphases, one in ceramic and then one in sculpture. When I first started to love art, elementary through high school, all I was doing was drawing. I would fill all these sketchbooks and I'd take computer paper and then I'd keep drawing, and I was drawing. And the first time that I took a sketch and then turned it into this 3-dimensional object through sculpture blew my mind. It was like taking these crazy ideas and just like making it a tangible thing. So that was pretty incredible. And I also think it's more challenging after years and years and years of drawing. I found all these challenges and just these techniques that I had to practice. It was like a whole new world that I wanted to explore through sculpture. As always, I love to give shout outs to my patrons on Patreon. I mean, I always say it, but I couldn't do this stuff without you. It's like so legitimate. I hope you're tired of hearing it because I love you guys so much. Another shout out to my accursed infernal patrons on Patreon. That is Carrie Caros. Thank you so much for going above and beyond every month to help sponsor. And thank you to anybody just watching. I mean, I always thank my patrons, and I love my patrons. But I mean, I couldn't do it without just the masses as well. So I really do appreciate everybody who just takes any slight interest in what I do. So if you guys like what I did, you can just, maybe like a little subscribe. Or if you thought it was pretty sick, you just give it a little like over down there, probably in this region. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for doing the thing, for watching me, do the thing. Otherwise, later. Hey, better swing.